Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fundamentals of Martial Arts. This is week 5. Okay, so ang topic natin is more about judo. Okay, so objective is, well, there is a deep tradition of Eastern philosophy underpinning the martial art. As a competitive sports, the aim is simply to beat your opponent, albeit with honor and grace. To win a bout, a player must score more points than their opponent, with points being awarded for throws or holds and penalties being given for various infringements. Okay, so we have here your judo is a competed or a mat or done in a tatami, measuring of 14 meters by 14 meters with a smaller 10 meters by 10 meters contest area marked within. So later on sa mga videos, makikita nyo kung paano yung anong itsura ng mga mat na ginagamit or what's called tatami. Okay, judokas must each wear a judogi. Okay, judogi is yung traditional uniform originating from the kimono and other Japanese garments. The gi must be durable enough, not easily ripped, and the arms and legs must be not more than 5 centimeters above the wrist and ankles. Respectively, when the limbs are extended, a belt, or what we call obi, must be worn, which is wrapped around the jacket and tied with the traditional knot. Okay? Kung paano yung traditional knot para mas maintindihan nyo, saka makita nyo kung ano yung proper attire na sinusuot natin sa judo, especially for your training and for competition. Here we have a video regarding the proper attire. Okay? Tsaka kung paano yung pagtatali ng belt. Okay? So let's watch this video.
Hi, I'm Philip Paz. I'm a defensive tactics instructor as well as a martial arts practitioner. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about how to wear a judo uniform, or otherwise known as a judo gi. There are 3 parts to the judo gi. They're the pants, the jacket, and the belt. The pants go on similar to regular pants. The jacket goes on similar to a regular jacket. The left side of the jacket goes over the right side. At this point, you want to put the belt on. The way you do that is you take the middle of the belt and you put it in the belly button area. You wrap it around and bring the ends to the front. The left end goes over the right and it ties into a square knot. The sleeves of the judo gi should come to just above the wrists. The pant legs should come to just above the ankles. I'm Philip Paz, and that's how to wear a judo gi.
Okay? So nakita nyo, 3 simple things. Pants, jacket, tsaka yung belt. Yun lang naman sinusuot nila. Okay? Next is we have the scoring. There are 3 types of scores an athlete can achieve in judo bout. Ippon is the best in that it results in immediate victory and can be achieved by throwing an opponent in such a way as to make them land on their back. Alternative methods of scoring ippon include trapping an opponent in an arm hold or strangled hold to the extent that it forces them to submit, or immobilizing an opponent on the floor for at least 25 seconds. The next best score is waza-ari, which is a half point, in that the award of 2 waza-ari in a bout is the same as ippon, and hence the winner is declared. Waza-ari is awarded for lesser throws than those scoring ippon, and for immobilizing the opponent for less than the time required to score points. So, kung gusto mong manalo ka agad during the competition, the best is to get an ippon. Pero kung siyempre mahirap nga makakuha ng ipon na score, no? So as much as possible kung marami kang waza-ari, no? 2 waza-ari is equivalent to 1 ipon. Okay? The third and holding least weight is Yoko. These are awarded for short immobilizing holds and some less effective throws or locks. 1 score of waza-ari outscores any number of Yukon. Well, even if an athlete has 1 score of waza-ari and many of Yuko, 1 score of ipon by the other athlete would supersede them all. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kahit napakadami nyo ng score na waza-ari at Yuko, kung yung losing opponent ay nakagawa ng ipon, siya automatically ang mananalo sa competition. Sa bout. There are 2 types of penalties awarded in judo. We have the shido for minor rule infringements and hansoku make. For the major rule breaches or the accumulation of 4 shidos, shido penalties are awarded for stalling tactics, prolonged periods of non-aggression, while the first penalty being a warning. The second giving a score of Yuko to the opponent. The third a waza-ari, and the fourth ipon. Hence the match, an award of hansoku make to an athlete automatically gives the match to the opponent. And if for a major rules infringement rather than 4 shidos also result in expulsion from the tournament itself. Okay? For the winning the match, paano ba tayo mananalo during the competition? Athletes or judokas win a match by either achieving ipon, gaining 2 scores of waza-ari, hence it is equivalent to ipon, or having accumulated more points than the opponent by the end of the bout. If the scores are identical at the end of the bout, a period of golden score ensures. In this overtime period, the first score of any kind wins an athlete the match. If the scores are still level at the end of this period, the result is decided by hante, which is the majority decision of the referee and the 2 corner judges. Okay, so to understand more about the rules, here is we have a video. Okay, for the sample scoring and rules of judo. So let's watch this video.
Nin explains the rules of judo. The object of the game is to throw your opponent onto their back. Judo is a Japanese martial art that is contested at the Olympic Games, and this video covers the new 2017 rules as outlined by the International Judo Federation. Judo players, known as judoka, are separated by weight class and wear either white or blue during a fight. Judokas try to dominate the grip on their opponent. The player who dominates the grip generally dominates the fight. To start the contest, both players bow to each other. Once the referee signals you to go, you begin. The idea is to grip your opponent and try to throw them with force onto their back. This is known as ippon, and this will win you the contest automatically. There are 4 ways to score an ippon. You can forcefully throw your opponent onto their back. You can hold your opponent's torso down on the floor for 20 seconds. You can force a submission by arm lock. And you can force a submission by strangling your opponent. If they tap out, you win by ippon and the contest is over. There are many techniques used in judo to try and get an ippon. If neither player can score an ippon, they can score by a waza-ari instead. A waza-ari is a less powerful throw than an ippon, a move which rolls your opponent onto their shoulders and back, a 10 to 19 second hold down, or a throw that lands an opponent onto their side. Scoring one of these won't end the contest, but will make all the difference if a fight goes to full time. The game is played in just 1 period of 4 minutes for both men and women. If no ippon has been scored, the highest number of waza-ari wins. That's basically it, but there's a few other things that you'll need to know before playing or watching judo. For example, gripping. Any gripping with the intention of throwing is allowable. This is known as positive gripping. But any grip that is used solely to block your opponent is not. This is negative gripping. If the referee deems that a judoka is using a negative grip, they may award a penalty against them. Penalty. In judo, there are two types of penalty. A shido, which is a warning, can be given for stepping out of the mat, pushing an opponent out of the mat, refusing to attack, grabbing the leg or trousers during a throw, or negative gripping. A hansokumaki is an instant disqualification. Any major breach of the rules, any bad behaviour, or accruing 3 shido equals hansokumaki. Also, grabbing your opponent's leg usually results in shido, but commits this error twice, and this will result in hansokumaki, disqualification. Golden score. If time has expired and both players have the same number of wazari, play continues until someone has a single score. This is known as the golden score. The first to score ippon or wazari wins. Shidos are carried over from normal time, and you can still be potentially disqualified for accruing too many penalties during the golden score period. Tournament. Judo contests are usually fought in elimination tournaments. The winner goes on to the next match. The loser is eliminated. This carries on until there is only one winner. If you found this video at all helpful, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. It takes me ages to make one of these things, and good karma is very much appreciated. Follow me on Twitter also, but in the meantime, enjoy judo.
Okay, so nakita nyo, naintindihan nyo yung mga explanation natin kanina. Okay, back to the slide. Okay, so in-explain natin yung rules. So judo matches takes place on tatami, or what's called mats, measuring 14 by 14. Yung nakita nyo kanina doon sa video na yellow na malaki, yung 14 meters by 14 meters, with a combat area of 10 meters by 10 meters marked out within it. Judokas, or what we call the athletes, must bow before stepping onto the mat and must bow to each other before and after either practice or competition. Excuse me. Judokas must wear the appropriate gi or uniforms, that is one more than 5 centimeters above the ankles and wrists, and is tied with the correct style of knot belt. Bouts last 5 minutes in international competition and are won when one judoka is awarded ippon. If no ippon is awarded, the player with the highest score at the end of the bout is declared the winner. If the scores are level, the match is decided by the period of golden score then. If it's still not resolved, the decision of referee and corner judges. Okay. Penalties are awarded for minor, called shido, or major hansokumake, infringements of the rules. 4 shidos result in the award of ippon to the opponent. Thus, 1 hansokumake. Judokas must not employ any of the outlawed techniques, including attacking joints other than the elbow, punching or kicking opponents, touching the opponent's face, or intentionally injuring the opponent in any way. Okay, for penalties, there are 2 types of penalty categories: shido for minor violation and hansokumake for serious violations. A contestant who draws 4 consecutive shido will acquire a hansokumake. The number of shido and the corresponding points which are awarded to the opponent are as follows. Okay, we have second shido, this yoko, third shido, wazari, and a fourth shido, hansokumake, or automatically ippon for the opponent. Penalty criteria. Because the koka was abolished, a first shido no longer result in a point for the opponent. However, a second shido will confer a yuko on the opponent. Even so, the first shido is still called and is still indicated on the scoreboard. Okay? Here, We have a video regarding penalties. So let's watch this. And for more elaborations, makikita nyo kung paano ba yung sinasabi nilang Shido. Okay. Nakita nyo na hinighlight mismo yung mga penalties na pwede mangyari during the competition. Okay. Next is we have for Shido, minor violation group. Okay. To intentionally avoid engagement with opponent as shown in the video. To adopt an excessive defense posture, generally for more than 5 seconds. Kasi remember guys, ang competition is 5 minutes lang. Okay? So kailangan maging aggressive. Dapat yung opponent. Okay? Yung dalawang opponent, kailangan aggressive sila parehas. No? Kasi 5 minutes lang yan. Di kagaya ng boxing na parang 12 minutes. 12 rounds. Tapos every 3 minutes. Okay? To feign an intent to attack but clearly lacking an intent to execute. Tinatawag natin false attack as shown. Also, to grasp the opponent's sleeve for defense purpose, generally for more than 5 seconds, or to twist the sleeves. Ito nyo na din yan. Standing with fingers mutually entwined for 5 seconds or longer. Intentionally discarding one's own uniform and retying the belt or pants drawstring without the referee's permission. Pulling the opponent into a newaza throwing technique from a condition in which a transition to a newaza is not possible. Inserting the fingers into the opponent's sleeves or leg openings. Gripping the opponent in a manner other than the normal komikata without attacking, generally for more than 5 seconds. Failing to attack before or after taking the komikata stance. Ayan. So, makita nyo sa illustration natin. Okay, we also have grasping the opponent's sleeves between the thumb and fingers, what we call the pistol grip. Folding back and grasping the opponent's sleeve, pocket grip. Grasping the opponent's foot, leg or pants, leg without simultaneously attempting a nagiwaza. Wrapping the belt ends or uniform hem around any part of the opponent's body. Biting the hem of the uniform, placing a hand, arm, foot, or leg directly on the opponent's face. So daming violation, no? Hooking the foot or leg in the opponent's belt or collar para mag-jump siya, hindi makagalaw. Strangling the opponent with tunic, helm, belt, or directly with the hands. Moving outside the contest area or international push, intentionally pushing the opponent outside the contest area. Applying a leg scissor lock, the opponent's trunk, neck, or head, crossing and extending the legs. Attempting to break the opponent's grasp by kicking the opponent's hand or arm with the knee or foot, or kicking the opponent's foot or leg without applying any technique. Bending the opponent's fingers back in order to break his grasp. Okay, grasping the opponent's pants during an offensive or defensive maneuver executed from a standing posture. Okay, doing so will incur to mate and ashido. Okay, hansokumake defeated by grave infringement or accumulated light penalties. Okay, applying a kawazugake or leg entanglement row, applying a kansetsu waza anywhere other than to the elbow joint, lifting a spine opponent off the floor, then throwing him back to the floor. Ripping the opponent's support leg from the inner side when the opponent has applied a haragoshi or hip sweep. Failing to follow the referee's instruction. Okay? Meron tayo. So here, makikita nyo sa video natin yung example nung hansokumake. Okay? So let's watch this.
Murao, a penalty now, maybe for the standing armlock.
Which one of these clips is the commentator talking about? Which one is hansokumake? The answer is the clip on the left. And which one looks more dangerous? I think the answer to that question is pretty obvious, but what happened in the clip on the right? Absolutely nothing. The match carried on like usual and Murao won by ippon. So why was Murao given hansokumake against Bobonov, but did a much more dangerous version of the same technique a month earlier and nothing happened? Well, I'll give you my answer to that in a minute, but first let's look at a few rules in judo. So I couldn't actually find the official rules in the IJF documentations, but apparently standing submissions and flying armbars are not allowed, but I don't think that Murao was doing a flying armbar. Anyway, regardless, standing submissions are not allowed in judo. So you might be asking, when is it tachiwaza and when is it newaza? Well, the rules say an opponent on one knee or two knees is still in a position to be scored against with a tachiwaza technique. With one hand down, it's still possible. If all four limbs are on the floor, it is newaza. If I bring my partner back up for a throwing action, then it would be newaza. But the moment of change occurs when the moment uke starts to stand up. Then the position can be considered for tachiwaza attacks again. Now, looking at these two images side by side, it's pretty obvious that this is tachiwaza, and so a jujigatame would be an illegal attack at this moment. However, do you think that in both cases, these are jujigatamis? I think it's obvious the one on the right at Kazan is a jujigatame. Murao is applying that he is trying to break that guy's arm. But if you watch this clip from the World Championships, you can see that Murao is trying to throw Bobonov. It just so happens that Bobonov's arms are in that position, which is Bobonov's fault. and the only way to throw for a wazari was in that direction. I think the commentator said it the best.
So it was Bobanov who jumped in, but the arm was already out. And for Murao it was quite easy, because where the arm is, that is where the shoulder is. And where the shoulder is, well, there you can throw your opponent to his back. Yeah, of course, his coach.
So here's my problem with this whole situation. At Kazan, no score was given, which means that there was no need to go to the video officials. The referee standing in the middle is the only person making a decision at that time. He may not have been aware of the rule that you cannot do a standing Jujigatami in Tachiwaza, and the match continued like normal. Now for Murao, he might think, oh, I can do this. I can use this technique and not get penalized for it. He's not learning from his mistakes because the referee isn't picking up on them. And then at the World Championships, he's finding himself in these positions and he's happy about doing that movement because he hasn't been penalized for it before. But at the World Championships, when he's in a similar position, even though he didn't apply the Jujigatami, because it was a wazari score, they went to the video officials, they saw the position, but they didn't look at the intent to throw, not the intent to take his arm. I do think Murao was just being very aware in that situation. He was thinking, okay, I'm in this position. If it goes to the ground, I have a Jujigatami. But here is an opportunity to score a wazari and a golden score that will win me this very tough match and move me through the World Championships. So, two terrible decisions by the referees, and there have been other decisions as well against Givanashvili. I'm not going to do a video about that. It is an illegal technique. It's very similar to Yagura Nage that Givanashvili does as well. But I do think the IJF, the referees, they need to look at themselves a bit more, maybe clean up their practices, because the only person who is not benefiting from the situation is Murao, and we could have had a 20-year-old world champion from Japan, and that's really disappointing. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. I hope.
Okay. So yun yung Hansoku Make sinasabi nila, okay? Uttering meaningless cries or using speech or behavior which is disrespectful to the opponent and the referee. Committing an action that poses an injury, risk to the opponent, or an action that violates the spirit of judo. Okay? Ito pa yung mga penalties. Falling directly to the floor. Falling directly to the floor while applying or attempting to apply a technique such as Ode Hishigi Wakigatame. Throwing the opponent to the floor head first when executing a Uchimata, Harai Goshi Waza, etc. Or falling directly backwards while executing a Kata Kuruma from either a standing or kneeling posture. Intentionally falling backwards with the opponent clinging to one's back. Wearing metal objects or other hand objects which could pose a hazard to the opponent. Okay? Before we proceed to your activity, I want to show you a video. Para makita nyo, sabi, sir, ano ba yung ipon-ipon na sinasabi nyo kanina sa mga point system? So, here, papakita ko sa inyo yung mga example ng point system ng pagkuha ng ipon. Okay? So that's an example ng mga ipon. Takedowns. Okay, for your activities. Okay, activity 1, multiple choice, 10 points. 2 points each. Some multiple choice. Please write it in a yellow paper. Write your name, the subject, the week, and the date. Okay. Activity 2, essay. Answer in 10 to 15 sentences. This is 10 points each. Okay. And for your activity 3, okay, dito kayo sa likod mismo na magsasagot sa likod ng module. Then, yun ang i-attach nyo sa yellow paper. Okay. So, thank you for watching. God bless.